Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Jamieology, where today we are doing my May bullet journal spread. I am so excited to share this with you guys. I think it turned out great, and I'm really happy about getting to use it this month. So I kept it pretty simple this month as far as what I used to decorate my bullet journal. I used my Crayola markers, my Papermate Inkjoy pens, a pencil, and a ruler. Alright, so jumping right into our cover page for May, I decided to do a brick, window, and flower theme because I really like using flowers for May, but I wanted to spice it up a little bit and make it even more beautiful. So you can see that I started by drawing this window in the center of the page, and I added a couple window panes, adding a couple extra details to the windows just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And then around the window, I added these bricks that I tried to make the same size, but you know, if they're a little bit off, it doesn't really matter. And I really like how those bricks turned out. I kind of left them hanging off the edge a little bit, kind of making a rounded illusion to it. And then I added brick on the bottom of the page as well, just kind of surrounding the window. So once I was done with drawing the bricks, I went in and added some vines to the sides of the window, and these were super simple to draw. I just added some leaves and some really simple flowers to make it look pretty, and of course I'm going to go in and add color at the end. The next step was adding May at the top and then also a mini calendar at the bottom of the page, and I used this kind of almost stamp-like font, and it was pretty easy to use, and I like how it turned out. As always, I'm going through and tracing everything with black pen. Again, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I do this just to make sure the borders pop out when I do add the color in, so that you can still see the full image on the page. Once the black pen is all done, I go through and do a quick erase just to clean it up a little bit, and then I went in with my Crayola Super Tip markers. I love these markers. I just recently started using them, and I think they are so great for bullet journaling. They don't bleed through the page, for me at least, with the bullet journal that I use, and they just add really bright color to the page, and I could not emphasize how much I love these enough. As far as color scheme goes, I wanted this to be a very bright theme, so I did a lot of pinks, greens, I did brown for windows, and then blue for the light coming through the windows. And this is the finished cover page. Alright guys, so the next page I did in this spread was a quote page, and I did this next to the cover page just because I don't like leaving that space blank, and I think this is a really good use of that space. So in this one I added a quote, "Like a wildflower, she spent her days allowing herself to grow. Not many knew of her struggle, but eventually all knew of her light." I really like that quote, and I think it's very fitting for spring, so I am happy that I used that one. And then all I did to decorate this page was I added another window and some bricks around the window, and of course I added a couple of vines going down as well. And then I still had a lot of blank space at the bottom, so I decided to draw a door, and I just had a lot of fun trying to figure out how to draw this and make it look good, but I am happy with how it turned out, so I'll let you guys see how that progressed. Alright, so then I went in and added black pen. I know the door doesn't look fantastic yet, but once color is added, I promise it looks a lot better. So I just covered everything in black pen before going in and adding the flowers. And I didn't do the flowers in pencil on this page just because I found that it didn't really do much on the other page, and I could just kind of fake it with my markers. So that's why I didn't do that. Once everything is outlined, I added in my Crayola markers again. I used the same colors for the brick and the window and the flowers and the leaves, just to continue that theme onto the other page. And I like how this kind of made it look like this was a whole house with, you know, a bunch of windows, a door, and just vines covering the whole house. I love seeing houses like that, so this made me very happy. And that is all for this page. So next up was the calendar page, and I made my calendar a little bit bigger than normal just because I felt like it. And so each block for the calendar is about 6 squares by 6 squares, and of course I made a block for each day of the month. My main goal of this bullet journal spread was just to be very colorful and bright, so I wanted to include as many opportunities to add color as possible, so you will see what I mean by that in a little bit. But for the days of the week, I just added Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday along the top with a line going through all of that. And then on the side, I always like to include a goals section on my calendar spread. So I just made it into a little window that extends down like a wall. So that turned out really well. And then I added May at the top, of course, and a little vine just to add those flowers into this page as well. And then at the bottom, I added the quote, "Well-behaved women rarely make history," just because I've been on this entrepreneurship path and I wanted to emphasize that in my bullet journal spread just as a little bit of extra motivation. So I went through and I added the black outline all around everything except the squares, because the squares I'm going through and I'm adding a lot of different colors. And the 3 colors that I decided to use for this was tan, pink, and light green, just to follow the past pages of this spread. And I just kind of did this randomly, filling in some squares, outlining some squares, and I really like that it added kind of this boho type of feel to the page, and it just made it a lot brighter. And it's still able to be written over with the black pen, so I will be able to use this throughout the month to track my different obligations throughout the month. And of course I also added color to the vines, and I colored in the window brown. Alright guys, so with the monthly spread done, we are now going to flip the page, and we are now going to do our mood tracker for the month. So I wanted this to be relatively simple to draw. I know I do some more complicated mood trackers, and then there's other months where I don't feel like doing something more complicated. So this one was fairly simple, but it did still have a lot of character. So basically what I did is I drew a brick for every day of the month so that I can fill in one of those with whatever color matches my mood for that day. And then in the center I did 3 windows just to continue that window house feel. And on the bottom I used a vine to color code all of the moods for the month. So for the second time this month, I accidentally wrote habit tracker on my mood tracker, and I had to use whiteout to cover that up so that I could write mood, and I'm really sorry. That is one of my pet peeves about doing pen on bullet journal, just because I end up making a mistake and then I have to fix it. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. So I finished this off by just adding color throughout the page and color coding all of the moods for the month. And then the page was done. The next page is, of course, the habit tracker. I always do my mood tracker and my habit tracker on pages next to each other just because I think it makes the most sense for me. So I did similar to my previous months, where I have a block for every day of the month and it's kind of outlined like the month. I kind of filled this in like I did with the calendar, where I have some that are just outlined and some that are filled in with color, just because I wanted to continue that theme and I really liked the way that it looked on the page. So that is what I did for this. And then of course I added a vine on the side to add some flowers over there. And then I just wrote May habit tracker at the bottom and filled in the habits that I wanted to track above each of these spots. Alright, and that is my habit tracker for the month. So then on to our final page that we're going to be doing today, which is of course the line a day page, which I decided to do may your days be filled with joy. So the things I'm going to be writing each day are things that made me happy that day, which I love to do for spring just because I think it's important to focus on the things that make you happy. So for this I just numbered 1 through 31 for May, and then I added a window for some decoration and wrote Hello Spring at the bottom. And then typically the page next to it is for a monthly challenge, which I have coming soon on my website, jamie-ology.com. So to finish things off, I just wanted to give you a flip through of my May bullet journal pages, just so you can have a refresh of what this all looks like together. And I am so happy with how these pages turned out. It makes me very happy to see all the beautiful colors on the page, and I'm excited to use that throughout the month of May. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please hit that like and subscribe button so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. And I will see you in my next video.